Welcome to the Walk-Thru with 5-Star Preps, the ultimate weekly live show that dives deep into the heart of high school football right here in East Tennessee. Powered by Triple F Training. Train like a pro. Each week, Jesse Smithy and the 5-Star Prep team takes you beyond the gridiron and into the stories that define Fall Friday nights in the hills of the Great Smoky Mountains. From the thrilling touchdowns to the hard-hitting tackles and the unsung heroes who make every game unforgettable, we've got it all covered. Join Jesse Smithy as he breaks down this week's biggest games, highlights the standout performances, and gives you the most comprehensive high school football coverage in East Tennessee. Now, catch us live on the Walk-Thru, presented by Triple F Training.
Welcome into the Walk-Thru, getting ready for the state championship game, the last game of the season. Paige alongside Jesse Smithy. We see everyone walking into the Bible study room here at Triple F, which is what 5-Star Preps is presented by. Just really a holistic approach. We really get these athletes in every aspect of their lives.
Yeah, and this is our final show of the year here. It's been amazing to broadcast here each and every week. Thank you to Lee Smith and his entire staff for showing us unbelievable hospitality each and every week, whether it's this show we tape on Monday nights. We had our playoff war room show in week 11. We did 3 shows that night. Just a great staff, great people, the way they treat the kids, talk with the parents, and just give them everything they need. Just extremely blessed. So wanted to thank them on our final show for being here, and I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss being here on Mondays.
It was so fun. We have our cameraman, Jared, behind the camera.
Yeah,
I mean, it's got
awesome
a little
job.
trifecta. Yeah.
Yep, so.
It'll be nice. So make sure that this is a good final show as we get ready for the state champions. But before we get ready for our final 2 teams of the East Tennessee area, we have to look back to last week because there was a little bit of chaos that ensued. And we can maybe start with Coalfield and Oliver Springs.
Yeah, so Coalfield went down to Oliver, or not to Oliver Springs, but
Southern Pit,
South Pit, and had a lot to do. I mean, we talked on the show last week about the changes that South Pitt had made since week 1. Early in the season, they had losses to Oliver Springs and a couple other people, and so we're thinking, you just kind of dismiss South Pittsburgh at that point because they were the defending state champion, but they graduated a ton of talent off that 2023 state championship team. But all they did each and every week was get better. And they had talent, but they had them in the wrong spots early in the season. Made some personnel changes, and then South Pittsburgh just absolutely took off, became that juggernaut again in Class 1A that we're so accustomed to, and Coalfield just wasn't able to contain that on the road down at South Pittsburgh. Tough place to go, travel to, tough place to win, and so South Pittsburgh will have an opportunity to defend their state championship, but hats off to Coalfield for an unbelievable season. They avenged those losses to Oliver Springs last year in the playoffs, and then got them in the regular season this year. So Benson Napier, we had him on the program, head football coach at Coalfield. I know he's going to have those guys working in the offseason once again. He's going to have another talented team coming back in 2025.
Yeah, a 12-win season. It was a remarkable season. And after the game, when he spoke to you all, he said that it's a great feeling to make it this far, but they understand that they fell 1 game short. And I just think that shows you just how close they are to that goal and how realistic the goal of state championship appearance is.
And that community's been so close to winning a state championship before, and it's seen other people that it plays around here, like Greenback, make it to state championship games and win state championship games. And I think they know that's attainable. So it's just maybe finding that extra special player or two to kind of complete the puzzle, and we'll see if Coalfield can do that next year.
Our next game we have with Alcoa, and who do they play?
It doesn't. It's Sequatchie County.
Gosh, I don't even know how to say these
It doesn't matter. I mean, we knew they were going to win big, and that's what they did. They went down there and just walloped Sequatchie County, which is down around the Chattanooga area. And we talked all year about how focused Alcoa is, and when the news came out that they were moving up to 4A, that just intensified their desire and their passion to win another state championship. They do not want to lose this game coming up on Friday in their last ever run through in Class 3A. They have a big challenge in Westview, a quarterback in Graham Simpson. We can talk about that later in the show, but a kid that's thrown for well over 3,000 yards and tons of touchdowns, over 40 touchdowns this year, I believe. So Westview has their attention, but there's so many other storylines that have Alcoa's attention to do. They want to finish it off the right way.
And a good storyline from that game in the semifinals for Alcoa was Eli Graff, who had 5 touchdowns. A number of those came on the ground after the game. It's just like, yeah, you know, it's just able to get out of the pocket and use my legs a lot. Yeah, he was able to do that a lot in this last round.
What I love about Eli Graff is the respect he garners from his teammates. I don't know how many times I've heard Eli Owens in the post game talk about how Eli Graff is the best quarterback in the state and that he deserves Mr. Football. We're talking about Eli Owens, a 3 or 4 star prospect who's going to Michigan, who could be the ego guy and say, I deserve Mr. Football. I'm the big recruit, Eli Graff.
Right,
But that's not him. That's not who Eli Owens is. He loves his teammates. He's played with Eli Graff for years. He knows how critical Eli Graff is offensively and defensively and special teams to Alcoa's success. And he's just speaking facts. I mean, Eli Graff is a complete football player who's made Alcoa go this last year and this year.
Yeah, then we look to Maryville and Alcoa. I know a lot of us were maybe hoping that Maryville would win. We know this matchup feels like a state championship matchup because usually a team who wins this matchup goes on and wins the title. But Maryville not able to get the run game going at all. I mean, they were outrushed 202 yards to 60.
Yeah, when Maryville goes on the road to Oakland and they had a lead there, it was 13-7, but they're kicking field goals to get to that 13-7. When you're trying to beat Oakland on the road at Oakland, those field goals have to be touchdowns.
Yes.
Have to be. Otherwise, you're just letting Oakland stay in it, hang around a little bit longer, and that's what happened in the second half. As you mentioned, Oakland just really put the clamps down on that Maryville offense. After the break, Maryville only had 45 yards of offense in the second half. And so when you do that to somebody on the road in a state semifinal game, I mean, it's hard to win. But Maryville, we thought they'd be competitive in this game against Oakland. Oakland seemed gettable this year. All that played out exactly like we thought. Maryville just wasn't able to kind of get that last touchdown, maybe force overtime.
Yeah, but at least they made it back to the semifinals, which is where we're used to seeing them, not in that second round exit. So definitely we're able to get a lot of revenge back this season for sure.
For sure. And Maryville will be in the mix again. They bring Will Jones back at quarterback. You got Brody Smith up there at the tackle spot. They got a lot of running backs coming back. Maryville needs to find that one special receiver who can stretch a defense vertically.
Yeah.
And that way they can't crowd the box and stop the run. So we'll see if something like that evolves for Maryville in the offseason.
Our last one to recap from the semifinal week is Sevier County and Oak Ridge. I was not expecting this game to be as high scoring as it was. I mean, Sevier County's coach Todd Loveday after the game also said that this game felt like a PlayStation type of game, especially towards the end as they put up 45 on Oak Ridge.
Yeah, I was actually up in Macon County covering the Anderson County game. We'll talk about that one in a second, but I'm following along on YouTube or just Twitter whenever I can, and it's a score. You talked about surprise in that game. I was surprised Oak Ridge got up double digits there in the second half. And we talked on the show last week about Will Presley's return to wide receiver and Malik Howard's return to tight end. Those are 2 college caliber athletes. Both those guys caught touchdowns early, got Oak Ridge going, got them believing. But again, the team of destiny factor that Sevier County has is just undeniable. And we talked about Cooper Newman so many times this year, and especially in the postseason, about his ability to lead comebacks and to stay level-headed. And his coach called him cold-blooded. I mean, just that he just does not get rattled, fall down by a deficit, whatever, man. We're going to come back, and that's what's happened.
I love that. Our next game, we want to talk about it, Anderson County. I mean, the season that they put together. Sadly coming to an end on the road.
Yeah, and it was a tough game at Macon County, and I thought Anderson County would win this football game by double digits. And you could tell from the first quarter that was not going to be the case.
Yeah.
Paige, I got up there around 5 o'clock Central Time. The stands were full.
Wow.
Macon County had never been to a state championship game. It meant everything to that community. It was freezing cold, but they were out there hours before kickoff. I mean, it was loud. There's sirens going off. There's fireworks. They gave Anderson County a little bit of their own medicine, just with the fireworks and the horns and everything. Not that that rattled Anderson County, but it just allowed those players at Macon County to feel that energy, feel that juice, and they stuck around for 4 quarters and made the plays there late. Anderson County had a 2-point try late with about 50 seconds left to tie and go into overtime. Just that got batted away. Some people in Anderson County said that was pass interference, that was not called, and I just couldn't get that onside kick attempt there in the final minute. But man, it was a fantastic atmosphere and a fantastic football game, and one that I won't forget.
Yeah, absolutely not. So we have obviously 2 teams still left in the state championship run. We'll actually hear from those head coaches in Brian Nix and Todd Loveday when we come back. Stay with us.
Brought to you by SmartBank. Play smart, bank smart. SmartBank. For more information, visit smartbank.com.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Back into the walkthrough. Paige Stowers, Jesse Smithy, getting you ready for the state championship game where we'll see Alcoa and the first game on Friday, and then we'll see Sevier County in the nightcap on Friday, as well as they try and either get their 10th or their second program or consecutive state championship. So you had a chance to talk to Brian Nix at Alcoa as they get ready to hopefully get their last state championship while in this classification.
Yeah, and he'll tell you that it doesn't matter if they're playing East Nashville, which they played the last 3 years, or Westview this year. Every game is different, every team is different, every opponent is different, and that's some of the things that we discussed with Brian Nix.
Brian, congratulations on another season so far. I know you guys never take it for granted to be in the state championship round, and You said something on the teleconference for the press earlier in the week about how you go about making sure there's no complacency for Alcoa football that really resonated with me, and that's making it about the seniors, making sure they go out winners. And when did that develop with you all at Alcoa High School?
Yeah, I learned that from Coach Rankin a long time ago. I can't remember when he might have said it the first year he was here. You think with Coach Rankin, he's been dealing with that kind of expectation for 31 years. I mean, now he's about got it like that at Boyd. In the second year, he makes the state championship game. And once you make it there, people expect you to make it there again. And, I think he had dealt with that for a long time at Riverdale. And when he came here, I can't remember a time where that wasn't something that he said all the time. And that made complete sense to me because you try to find a way to be poignant about that this year's the most important year. But it's not just this year. It's this group of guys who don't ever get to do it again. Eli Graff never gets to put on an Alcoa helmet again after Friday morning. Eli Owens, Isaiah Emmert, JT, those guys that are those offensive linemen, Ryan McCourt, those guys that we're losing, they never get to put that helmet on again. And so we want to, the whole year has been about preparing to do everything we can to send them out a winner.
The last 3 years, you all played East Nashville. Now you prepare for a Westview team. What is going to be the difference in just styles of play that you are preparing for in Westview as opposed to what you saw at East Nashville?
I think just with as opposed to anyone we've seen, Graham is one of the better high school quarterbacks I've seen in a long time. Just extremely accurate, throws the ball down the field well. Gets the ball out in space, his receivers, makes good decisions. It's not just the arm talent. It's not just shows a ton of poise for a freshman. He's a guy, he's a kid, you can tell he's a coach's kid. He's been around it with his brother. He's been around football, and they can execute a lot of offense. I think it's really important. A lot of people run a lot of offense. They can't always execute it. And they run the ball well. It's not like where you just come in and, hey, you just stop the passing game and you don't have to worry about the run. They can run the ball well. And if you give them light boxes and you give them opportunities to run, they're going to take it. And, we've seen them on film be able to run the football too. So, but just the ability, having a quarterback that can make all the throws, that can manage and execute all the scheme. It's one thing to run it, but a quarterback to read and do the things he does. So that's really different than really any opponent we've played in a long time.
I know sometimes when need be, Eli Graff, your all's quarterback, will also play corner. Will we see a lot more of him in this game just because of their passing dynamic?
Yeah, I don't know about a lot, but there'll be some situations where we will definitely play him and put him in the game. Our offense obviously leans on him a lot. So, you want to make sure that's his emphasis, but there's definitely some situations where he could come in and help us in these. But, our secondary is really, it's where I've been most pleased and how we've grown and how we've developed from the beginning of the year. It's where we were young to start the year, but we've got a group of guys who have gotten a ton of reps, have gotten a ton of action, we've gotten some depth there, and we've really progressed. I think our coaches have done a good job of getting those guys in position, to play an offense like this. And I think coming into this game, he's going to make some throws. They're going to score some points. If you think you're coming down, you ain't shutting down this offense, right? You're going to, but we're going to, that's what we say, make one more play than they do. And I think just coming in and just understand they're going to make some plays. They're well coached. They've got good players, and we got to make one more play than they do.
Coming into this season, we all knew what we're going to get in Eli Graff and Eli Owens, players like that have been such mainstays in the Alcoa lineup for years. But Jameer Dean, over the last half of the season or so, has really kind of blossomed. Micah Jones, I know, is a player that you've talked about a few times in terms of really taking a step forward. Discuss those two guys and what you've seen out of them in terms of their maturation.
Yeah, I think what Jameer has learned is how to practice, how to push himself, how to work, learning to work in the weight room, just learning to be a football player. He's a high-level athlete, but he's getting, at running routes and executing coverage. He's factored in lately and been, and he started a few games at corner for us. And so He's factored in, lately on defense. Micah, what he's shown me throughout this year is just some toughness that I wasn't sure if he was prepared to show yet. Pretty much played every snap both ways in the Maryville game, or, he might have been off the field 10 to 15 snaps on offense, played every snap on defense. And, in a highly stressful, highly competitive game, the toughness that he showed me, it's hard for a sophomore. I mean, you expect that you're going to have some hiccups with some young guys until they, you can't be tough until you do tough things. And so, whereas last year, Micah had an interception in the state championship game. He started on and off for us as a freshman, but he never had to play a snap of offense. And so coming into it and really be a starting tailback and then also play that safety position. So, his maturization in the toughness category has been big. Damari DeBose is another one as a sophomore that's really been a linchpin for us on defense. I don't know that he gets the credit, and he's a guy that as he goes on in his career, you're going to hear his name on offense too, because he's really a dynamic ball carrier and a receiver. We just not, because of how much we run Eli Graff and how much, throwing to Eli Owens. But those touches are going away. And Damari DeBose, he's a consistent guy. He works hard. He's a good teammate. And he's going to, sophomore too, had an interception in the state game last year, but he's another sophomore that's really came on and done great for us.
Well, Brian, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us on the show tonight, and best of luck to you all down in the 3A championship against Westview.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate all you do, man.
Yes, sir.
It's a great conversation that you had with Coach Brian Nix and just what he's been able to do with that team and just have another successful season. And hopefully it ends with a 10th straight.
Yeah, I suspect it will, but talking with Brian Nix, you can always tell his energy level is up, and it's always intense each and every week, whether it's week one or the state championship game, and we're going to get his best this week, I'm sure.
Another coach that really is, strictly business a lot of the time, but also is able to bring that energy to Sevier County's Todd Loveday, who a lot of this season has talked about this team being a team of destiny, the 100th team. It's the first time since 2015 they're back in the state championship game. So the way this team is playing, especially here in the playoffs, they have a ton of momentum.
Well, one of the things you will not see in this interview is Todd Loveday with blonde hair. Now, earlier this week, all the Sevier County players dyed their hair blonde because in 1999 they did it and won a state championship. In 2015 they did not do it and they did not win. So they're trying to summon some good mojo this week, and we had a little fun with that and talking with Sevier County head coach Todd Loveday.
And Todd, I think one of my favorite things of the week so far is seeing your players show up for media day with blonde hair. You didn't know that was coming, right?
No, but I have to admit I wasn't surprised. I mean, Coach Kelly, who was our defensive back coach, he was quarterback on our state team back in '99. He's the one that started that on that team. The team pictures out in the hallway, a bunch of bleached heads on that team, and I guess they just kind of got talking about it and kind of went like wildfire.
I mean, not that those kids needed anything to get excited about going to the state championship, but it just kind of adds to the week, right?
It does. I mean, I think it kind of shows the tightness, the bonds these guys have. They have they have a lot of fun. Each team's different, and but they know how to do the work when it's time to do the work.
Certainly, going to the state championship game in 5A is a huge badge of honor, especially in this area because there's so many great 5A teams. And what did it take? What did it take? Just fortitude, mental will to get through the Powells and Wests of the world, Oak Ridges of the world to get here?
Man, when November started, I mean, it was, hey guys, it's time to rubber hits the road. It's time to show what you guys are made of, type deal. And these guys have literally went 1 week at a time. They've bought into it. Do not play to the scoreboard. We've been preaching that for a few years, and then this group's had some scars built up over the years, and then you mix in some young guys with the older guys, and they're just real tight knit, and respect every opponent we have, and literally just try to play to our standard and try to improve each week. I know that sounds. I tell them all the time, I know I'm boring, guys, but it's one play at a time, 1 week at a time, and they see the dividends of that. If you just play together and play with an unselfish attitude.
I know you've known for a long time that Cooper Newman is a special player, and y'all have told the media about him for a long time. To see it manifest itself in these comeback wins, how awesome is that, just to kind of sit back and behold and watch him evolve into what everybody's kind of expected him to be?
Yeah, I mean, I catch myself, my mouth open sometimes on some of the throws he makes or a decision he makes. I said last week, we're down at halftime against Oak Ridge. That's the first time we've been behind a half, and he probably played his best ball in the second half. I mean, I think when the game is more on the line, when throwing the balls more at bay right there, I think he loves the ball. He wants the ball. He wants to deliver the ball, and at the same time, just a super unselfish kid, and gives everybody else credit. And he's a kid that's easy to, if you're an offensive lineman, they love the guy, and he's easy to love. He's I mentioned the phrase he's cold-blooded, and I mean that in the good way. He doesn't get rattled. He thinks we're always in the game, and gets a little bit upset when we take the foot off the gas pedal. Sometimes he wants to keep pushing and going, and that's the kind of kid you want, a trigger man right there.
There's a number of special players around him as well. And I think back to the regular season when you all lose Tegan Avera at running back, and
right.
My natural inclination is, okay, well, Sevier County might struggle a little bit without him, but you guys kept winning. You kept putting up points, and that's really a testament to your offensive linemen, the guys that have stepped up in the backfield, and just players out on the perimeter who've stepped up and became heroes as well.
Yeah, I mean, we heard it a lot as soon as Tegan got hurt. What are we going to do? This kind of thing, and nothing was really changed. The playbook stayed the same, so to speak. Just different guys filled in. Obviously, it hurts losing a kid like that. Tegan's a great leader, not only a good player. He hasn't missed a day of practice. Speaking of him, he's been here every day trying to get himself ready to play. And when he got hurt, our guys basically said, if we want Tegan to play with us again, we got to succeed throughout the regular season and start out hot in the playoffs to get this kid back with us. And that's the kind of guys we have. And just like I said, unselfish. And, I think Cooper in his own right kind of felt more responsibility as far as getting points on the board. And, there's one game at halftime, 8 different guys had a catch. That's happened all year long, just different guys being – quote unquote player of the game, this and that, and takes them all. And that was a good testament to the team that from top to bottom that, and I give the coaching staff that they're completely consistent, kind of flatline, so to speak, no panic. And I think that trickles down to the kids as well.
Let's take a look at this championship game. Paige High School has been in it the last 3 years, and it seems like every year we discuss them, it starts with their defense. They have 2 linebackers, one going to Tennessee, one going to Louisville. Is that what kind of jumps off the film at you when you first watch them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess on a normal team they would really jump out, but there's guys around them that's highly touted. I don't know recruiting wise, but the 2 inside linebackers, they can flat out play 11 and 4. And 2 safeties that get downhill good as anybody we've seen. They fly the football. I think Coach Pillen said it best yesterday. He said, guys, they get to the football. He said, they kind of remind me of us. We always pride ourselves on getting to the ball. Big up front. You start looking for people to pick on. There's nobody there, but our guys know that. I think that's where it's helped to play the teams that we played here the last month on. It's hard to top a Powell or a Knox West on defense. I'll be honest with you. And these guys are the same way with probably a little more size and with experience. They, like you said, they've been there a few years running now, and but we're worried about us. We know it's going to be a challenge, and I think our guys are up to it.
Todd, last thing, I know oftentimes when you go down to a state championship game, you haven't been there in a while, or maybe it's your team's first time. Do you pick the brain of other coaches in the area who've had success down there and just kind of what to expect, what works for you guys, what didn't?
Sure. I mean, I was on the phone with Lamar for probably 30 minutes on Sunday. Just, you don't get caught up where you get down there and you think you have 30 minutes to warm up and it might be 15 or 10 minutes to tape or just the stuff that we can control and that we might not know otherwise. And, obviously, a great guy, really helped us. He actually sent an itinerary that they've used, and I think he's a little bit like me. He had 3 different warm-up procedures ready just in case, and it doesn't surprise me with the program they have. So, coaching football is a still in game you take from everybody, see what works best, and had a lot of coaches in that area reaching out if we needed anything.
Coach, it's been fun so far watching your team get to this point. We've got one more game on Friday night. Look forward to watching you play that final game of the season.
Yes, sir. I appreciate all you do, Jesse. Appreciate it.
So my question to you, will you have bleach blonde hair?
Not this time. I've done that
Don't
before,
jinx
though.
them.
I told Farragut many years ago when we kind of first started Five Star Preps, one of their players, like, they always dye their hair blonde when they go to state. If we win state, will you dye your hair blonde? And I did. It didn't fully turn over. It was kind of like an orangish,
Oh no.
but it
I
was
need pictures of
okay.
that.
Yeah, I send pictures, but the wife said it looked all right on me, and the kids said it looked all right on me. But now I'm not tan. I don't think I need
It'll wash
yellow
you
hair.
out,
I don't
yeah.
need yellow hair in January or February.
Well, as we had to break, here's a list at the Mr. Football finalists. Stay with us, and we'll be right back to talk more Alcoa and Sevier County after this.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Are you ready to take your career to new heights? Join the Tennessee Air National Guard and be part of an elite team safeguarding our skies, responding to crises at home, and supporting missions worldwide. Wherever you are in life, the Tennessee Air National Guard offers unparalleled opportunities, top-notch training, and amazing benefits. Scan the QR code or visit goang.com to learn more. Serve your way with the Tennessee Air National Guard. The sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
You probably saw a couple of teams on that list that you recognized in Alcoa and Sevier County as they take on their opponents in the state championship game on Friday, and I think that's something we can all get excited for.
Yeah, and it all kicks off really in earnest on Thursday with all the Division II schools playing at Finley Stadium in Chattanooga. We'll see Baylor and McCallie face off against one another. Paige, last year, that was the game to be at, the game of the week. High school football championships are never going to fill a college stadium, but they came really close that night. I mean, you're talking about in Chattanooga, Baylor versus McCallie. Those are your two name brand programs, state powers down there in that city. And there were media from all parts of the state down there just wanted to see it. They weren't even writing the game, shooting the game. They just wanted to be on the sideline. So much college talent, and it did not disappoint. So that'll be kind of the marquee game Thursday night once again to kind of cap off that first day. But for us, we're concerned about Friday and that Alcoa and Sevier County games coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's break down those two matchups that we'll see on Friday, December 6th. I cannot believe we are in the last week, final days going there. So they will get ready to take on Westview. And this is kind of like a first time meeting between these two programs as well. Of course, we know Alcoa is no stranger to the stage, so they'll be well prepared. But what's a couple of things to know getting ready for this matchup?
So Westview won a state championship in 2021. They were a 2A team back then. They were led at that time by Ty Simpson, who is now a quarterback at Alabama. Of course, his dad is a college coach. His dad played football at Mississippi State and Southern Miss. Well, now the younger brother is coming through, and it's always the younger brother who's the most talented. Wait till that younger brother comes through, and he's the better one of the two. And we're starting to see that, though. His name is Graham Simpson. He's a freshman quarterback at Westview. He's thrown for well over 3,000 yards. At one point, he had like 43 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
Wow.
So he's basically the West Tennessee version of our Cooper Newman over here in East Tennessee, just in terms of the touchdown to interception ratio, which is basically almost non-existent. And so with that, a lot of people in Westview are excited. It's a new fresh feel in this 3A final. We're used to seeing Alcoa versus East Nashville. That's what we've gotten to see the last 3 years. So East Nashville could not compete with Alcoa in those matchups. And so we're getting a different look and a different kind of vibe to this game. I'm excited about that. Again, we've talked about Alcoa. This is their last time in Class 3A. I'm picking Alcoa to win this football game, much like everybody is. But I'm interested to see what the future of 3A might look like as Westview might kind of take the banner, so to speak, once Alcoa is done with it.
Yeah, because their first couple of seasons in 3A was like 7-win type seasons. Then you have this new first-year head coach, and they've won 14 games. So the last time they had a 14-win season was that state championship you're talking about.
Right, and just talking with some media who have watched Westview this year, they say Westview's half the size of Alcoa.
Wow.
And Alcoa, this isn't their biggest team.
No.
I mean, they got some dudes up front and here and there, but I've certainly seen bigger, stronger Alcoa teams, and that's no knock on Alcoa. I've seen a lot of Alcoa teams in my time. So I'm wondering what I'm going to see out of Westview in terms of physicality, because Alcoa is going to get after it defensively. Yeah. And Brian Nix's defensive prowess. I mean, that guy's been a long-time defensive coordinator. If there's anybody that can frustrate a freshman quarterback, I got to think Brian Nix and his defensive staff are going to draw up something that's going to give him a little bit of trouble. So I'm sticking with my Alcoa pick.
Yeah, so your first Waffle House win-loss will go win to Alcoa.
Yep.
Our next one, the nightcap for this day, is Sevier County and Paige. And I can only imagine how frustrated Paige is taking on another East Tennessee team, because we know Powell and West have absolutely derailed their plans of winning their state championship appearance. Well, here they are again, back in the state title, facing yet again another East Tennessee team.
They will never admit it, but I know they've been peaking. Coaches will like, oh, no, we're only focused on this game. We're not looking down the road. But every year it was either going to be Powell or West. And I wondered if they really took a serious look at Sevier County.
Yeah.
Because not many up here did. I mean, we thought Sevier County was good, but I, for one time, thought at one time it was going to be Powell. And Powell was up 14 in that game late against Sevier County, and it very well could have been Powell. And then Sevier County took on West. You're thinking, all right, well, West might get to a third consecutive state championship, and Sevier County beat them. So I wonder if they've had to have a cram session to get ready for Sevier County. But as you mentioned, Paige has been in the state championship the last 3 years. They've lost twice to West. They've lost to Powell. It's all about their defense once again. If my numbers are right, they've only allowed 2.2 points per game this year as a team. That's absolutely insane. And I talked with Paige's head football coach about that, and I said, well, how do you encourage the second teamers that come in? Because y'all are blowing people out. The second teamers come in, they're not as going to be as good. Every now and then you get a weird touchdown that's scored. When the backups come in, they say, look, we motivate these guys with donuts.
No.
They say on Monday, if you come in and there's a certain amount of points that aren't allowed or a certain amount of yards that aren't allowed, we give them donuts or pizza or whatever. And so when the first teamers come out, they're like, you better leave
Don't
us.
mess it up.
Yeah, do not mess this up. So they hold each other accountable and they have treats or whatever. But it's a point of pride for their defense each and every week to go out and just shut people down. And they've been able to do that for 14 consecutive weeks. On the flip side, you have the unbelievable offense of Sevier County. They have a great defense as well.
Yeah, they pitched a couple shutouts as well.
And so it's going to be, how does Paige and these two Power 5 linebackers, is it Power 5 or Power 4 now? Or just
we'll do Power 4, right?
Power 4, whatever. And they had these same two linebackers last year, so this is nothing new. One of them is actually coming to Tennessee, and the other one's going to Louisville. But just how is Sevier County going to work that chess match offensively against those big-time power conference linebackers? And that's kind of the matchup to look for. I am picking Sevier County to win this football game.
You should.
I worry about Paige's offense being able to score enough to hold Sevier County off.
Yeah.
I think if Sevier County can get to 17 points, 17 to 20 points, I think they win this football game.
I think what should give Sevier County the most confidence too is when you're going up against a defensive savvy team in West, and that, you know, you look at Oak Ridge, that was an offensive battle. Against West, it was a defensive battle. They've kind of seen different ways that their team can win, and I think that should give them the most confidence heading into this game.
And again, the even keel nature of Cooper Newman at quarterback. These kids have never played in Finley Stadium. They've never played under those bright Friday night lights of a state championship game. So if they come out and they lay an egg in the first quarter and they're down 7 to 10 points, they're not going to panic. They've faced these deficits before, and they'll just keep at it until they find something that works. They have basically their full complement of offensive players now, still missing some banged up guys on defense, but they've been able to do just fine on defense in the postseason. So I just can't ignore that feel that I get. That I grew up around the 98 Vols, that team of destiny, and I've seen that manifest itself in a football manner, and I'm seeing it with Sevier County.
Yeah, and plus they have their bleach blonde hair, so who's going to stop them now?
You can't deny that. You cannot stop that.
You know, they might even look even better if they have some 5-Star Preps apparel.
We'll try though. Yeah, we got a little 5-Star Prep store up on the online. A lot of you guys have reached out and say, how can I get a 5-Star Preps t-shirt or a sweatshirt? So you do that. You can file. I think we got it linked on our Twitter and some other social media. It's going to close here coming up because they got to produce all that in time for Christmas. So make sure you're going out there to get a 5-Star Preps t-shirt, a hoodie, or a sweatshirt. I bought my daughter one the other day.
Nice.
So I'm not even getting free stuff. I'm paying just like you guys are. But certainly thankful to the people at E2 Sports down in Harriman. They made these hoodies for us and a lot of our gear throughout the season. Great people down at Harriman. So whether you have a business, a sports team, or whatever, they can outfit you guys just fine in all the latest and sleekest apparel, and definitely appreciate their support. This is a night to thank everybody.
Yeah, I know
it's our final show.
Yeah, you have to be in spirits. Another thing to look forward to in our final show is the Battle of the Ville. You have a couple of basketball classics coming up as well that fans and basketball teams can get excited for.
Right, and I hate to look at my phone, but I'm going to do that just because I want to make sure I get it right. But on December 13th at Fulton at 6 o'clock, you got Austin East boys versus West boys at 7:30. Host team Fulton taking on Bearden. These are 4 of the top boys basketball programs, seemingly year in and year out in Knox County. And then the next night, December 14th, it's going to be at Bearden. 6 o'clock West versus Fulton, 7:30 Bearden versus Austin East. Definitely looking forward to that matchup. And it's just one of many big-time basketball events that are being held in the mid part of December.
Yeah, the other one is the Hardwood Hammers or Hammers Hardwood Classic.
Hammers Hardwood Classic that 5-Star Preps is putting on. That's December 19th through the 21st. We're going to have all the brackets up on our social media. I'm not going to read off all the brackets again.
It's a lot.
I was very parched. Like my throat closed up. I read off so many teams.
Water.
It was 48 teams, 24 boys teams, 24 girls teams, 6 total brackets, 3 locations played across 3 days in Knoxville, and it's a massive undertaking, and definitely looking forward to it. You're talking about some of the best, if not the best, boys and girls basketball programs in our coverage area, all combating over kind of 3 days, and we'll see if Tennessee's football game is mixed in there. We might have to move some game around. We've started talking about that the other day. That if you think Tennessee, I mean, you covered Tennessee. Is Tennessee going to host a playoff game? Do we know that yet?
We don't know that yet. We still have the conference championships coming up, but I think with what's going on in the chaos that's already happened, one, they're all but in as of Tuesday, and then they definitely, I think, should be a playoff.
So we're going to have some contingency plans just in case that happens. That'll be right there in the middle of the Hammers Hardware Classic. But we'll keep an eye on that one. And the last one I want to talk about is Webb's Turnkey Hardwood Classic. That's also going to be in mid-December, December 13th and 14th. And we're talking about some of the best teams from around the Southeast and just state champions from other parts of the Southeast, Division I prospects galore. Some of our best teams in the area will be here as well. And I'm looking forward to it. There are a number of players and kids that I've followed on social media just because they're going to be the next big thing in college basketball, and they will be here for that event. So 3 big basketball events. So as soon as football ends, we're not stopping. We're going full steam ahead.
Pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal.
Yeah. Pedal to the pedal. I get it wrong every time. But a lot coming up, especially with 5-Star Preps. So if you can't keep up like I can't, definitely subscribe to 5starpreps.com to stay up to date. It's been so fun doing this with you this season. It's been great getting to highlight these teams in our area, and can't wait to see what comes, maybe even next season, but especially on Friday.
Yeah, thank you to Paige. Thank you to Jared behind the camera for doing this each and every week. It's definitely been a blessing and has enhanced our show last year where I was taping it from my house and we were all kind of putting it together. And we've kind of found a good little home here on Wednesday night on social media. And thank you all for watching each and every week. Our numbers have never been higher than they have been this year, and so it's been fun having you along here on the Walk-Thru, and hope to have you back next year.
Welcome to the Walk-Thru with 5 Star Preps, the ultimate weekly live show that dives deep into the heart of high school football right here in East Tennessee. Powered by Triple F Training. Train like a pro. Each week, Jesse Smithy and the 5 Star Prep team takes you beyond the gridiron and into the stories that define Fall Friday nights in the hills of the Great Smoky Mountains. From the thrilling touchdowns to the hard-hitting tackles and the unsung heroes who make every game unforgettable, we've got it all covered. Join Jesse Smithy as he breaks down this week's biggest games, highlights the standout performances, and gives you the most comprehensive high school football coverage in East Tennessee. Now, catch us live on the Walk-Thru, presented by Triple F Training.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.